Hey guys, Corrie here with a new scrapbook process video for you. Today is Mixed Media Monday over at HipKit, and so I am going to be working on a mixed media project. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cover this white cardstock with gesso, and I'm doing that just because I'm going to mix some of this ink with water, and I just don't want that where it gets like kind of funky looking and stuff. When you put too much water on cardstock, I don't want that where the paper starts peeling and stuff like that. So I want to have like a good solid base to start with. So once that's dry, I'm going to add some color to this page. So I know that what I'm going to do is have the cardstock kind of be kiltered on this pattern paper. So I want to just try and just eyeball what it is. And then the color that I'm going to get on there, what I'm doing is I just put some of the ink onto palette paper and I added some fluid acrylic paint, just white, and then mix a little bit of water in there and it'll even lighten it up kind of like a watercolor. So it's kind of cool. It's a great way to use your inks in a different way. So mixing a little bit of extra color in there for a little bit darker splatters. And there you've got some great pink on the background. So I want to make sure that's really dry because I'm going to layer some ink on top of that. So it doesn't need to be wet at all because then it'll smudge what I'm trying to do on top of that. So now that that's all the way dry, I'm going to go into the next step. So I'm using one of the stencils from the May color kit and then the orange ink from the color kit, and I'm just smushing it right down on this stencil. Then I'm going to take, I don't like the sharp edges, that come from a stamp pad. So I'm just going all the way around all of the edges so I don't have any hard lines, just with a cotton ball with a little bit of water on it, just to kind of smudge those so they're a little bit, softer. Then I'm putting it right on there and using a brayer so I could really get it down well. I'm just leaving the impressions of the circles there. Now, I know they seem kind of faint, but I can actually see them a lot better on the paper. But what's funny was when I was actually doing this and I was looking at it up close, I was like, ooh, I don't really like how that turned out. But seeing it from this angle, I'm like, oh, it actually came out exactly how I was hoping. So I just wanted kind of like a faint look of the stencil on top of the pink. And I got that, so I was really happy with how that worked. Now, I had tried this out on just notebook paper beforehand just to see if it was going to work right. And it actually came out much clearer, the circles did. But I think that had to do with the fact that there's no texture to notebook paper whatsoever. And there is texture on this cardstock. So I think that was part of the reason why I didn't get a super clean look. But it is possible. So if you use the smooth cardstock instead of the textured, I think it would come out a little bit better. And honestly, had I not used the gesso, it might have actually come out better too, because that does leave a little bit of a texture onto the paper. It makes it a little bit rougher. And so my thought is maybe had I not done that, it would have gone into the paper a little bit more. But then I would have been dealing with the fact that my pink would have maybe made the paper kind of, not stick together so well. So I don't know, you just kind of have to pick your battles a little bit when you're using a bunch of water on top of cardstock. So all right, so now I've got my background on top of my pattern paper and I'm just going to stitch all the way around the edge just to kind of give it a really nice kind of mounted look. I love stitching around the edges. Now this is what's crazy is I actually ran out of thread on the bottom thread, but I didn't go back in and redo it. It was just that top line and it's got the dots. It actually kind of looks like it's still stitched. So I'm just like, okay, that's fine. So then I've got my two photos. I'm going to go ahead and get those on there. I'm using all of the May kits from HipKit. I purchased all of them this month. So because I love having all the embellishments. And so I just have those. So I honestly don't know what all these little pieces, what kits they're from, except for the color kit. I could probably tell you that one for sure. But the other things, they're all just from the different kits. And I just love mixing all of those things together. So I'm just going to get a couple layers here and there for all of this. So these pictures are from May the 4th. It was the first day that our beaches were open back up, and they were only open for limited time from 6 to 9 a.m. and from 5 to 8 p.m. So it had been over a month since we had been able to get down on the beach. And so we were really excited. So my husband and I were up at the crack of dawn. Well, I say it's the crack of dawn. It feels like the crack of dawn. But we actually were down at the beach by 7 a.m. We saw the sunrise. We took coffee with us, and we spent 2 wonderful hours down on the beach. We took one of our dogs with us. She was super happy to be down there too. But it was great. And definitely this is a day that I, want to keep in the whole album thing, just because, everything about what's happened so far in 2020 has just been so off the charts, atypical and unexpected. So, I think that, years from now, it'll definitely be interesting to go back and kind of see like what our life was like and stuff during this time period. So I don't know, it should be kind of interesting. All right, so I'm going to get my title on. I'm using these phrase thickers that came in the kits. I love it because they just work perfectly with summer pages and stuff. So, oh, happy day. And it's just about how we were back on the beaches. I am going to date this page so that I know exactly when this all happened. And I'm going to use the ink from the color kit instead of black. And of course, I'm going to get some journaling on the page so that I can always look back and remember what's going on. And then once I've got all of that, I just go back in and just add in a few different embellishments here and there, just to kind of get the page a little bit more how I would like it. While it's really colorful and there seems to be a lot going on, I do want to just get a couple of little things here and there, just to kind of, make it just be more like how I like it. And I do try to put some other stuff in there too, but like it doesn't work. So I just, finally at some point you just have to say, okay, stop searching. Although sometimes I have a hard time like finally just cutting it off, But there you go. I'm going to add this one little heart just for the very end. And then guys, my page is finished. So here it is all done. And then there's a few detailed shots. Other than that, that's it. So if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them for me in the comment section. I'll be happy to get back to you. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching.